Yo Nyamisha said the Biasha POG Media. POG Media, Yenama, POG Media de no crefi eneha. Na yenra yensem near fansem dodonano and yada embrewa. Just say a black rasta at this in Biaba tuja. Akabi atre a Kennedy a compreko Agyapong. Efa a yeno commenter and I say ni she's out true Edema Okudzeto say on apologize on a Akuffo on a private jet one sense no. Wa ma a Okudzeto ejina brane. Na ose anya asemwa enka wasa Akuffo kra no nkasa besabi anasa allegedly nken yede atum because boni a wabedi ene ho kro ne ba na nya asem keto o de nsem dodo na atuja abra black rasta e de nsem dodo na de atuja yenko ne konkoti.
This is the voice of the patriot where we speak truth to power. Now here we don't criticize, but if we must, it would only be on one condition: to build and not to destroy. That is why we keep saying we are in the service of God and the country. My brother, my sister, this is the headquarters of the truth, because here we are not neutral. We have taken sides, the side of the truth. That is why we are the headquarters of the truth. This is the voice of the patriot where we speak truth to power. And today we have a number of issues to look at, and I need you to come along whilst we digest this. My brother, my sister, today we have a number of issues making the news, and I need us to go one after the other to deal with this, my brother, my sister. This is the Black Pot, aka Kukushodemo, where we speak truth to power.
This is 3FM.
Now the very first story we are looking at today says, and I read, Ablakwa under fire. Kennedy Agyapong demands public apology for disservice to nation. And I read, now the New Patriotic Party, the NPP flag bearer aspirant Kennedy Agyapong has criticized North Tongue MP Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, insisting that he must bow his head in shame and apologize for what he described as a deliberate disservice to Ghana over the controversial presidential jet debate. Now, speaking in an interview with Omai FM in August, and later sharing excerpts of on his Facebook page, Agyapong said Ablakwa's consistent opposition to the proposed acquisition of a new presidential aircraft under the N.Addo administration was not only misguided but also fueled by partisan motives. Now, according to the outspoken former MP for Asin Central, the unnecessary politicization of the matter by the NDC legislator undermined a critical national interest, especially in light of the recent military helicopter crash that claimed the lives of 8 senior officials. Now, the recent helicopter crash that claimed 8 precious lives should be a wake-up call for us all on the extent to which unnecessary partisanship is destroying our country, he said. Now, for the sake of political expedience, Honorable Okudzeto Ablakwa vehemently opposed the acquisition and engaged in unfortunate banter. He must bow his head in shame and apologize for his disservice to our dear nation. I vehemently disagree with Kennedy Agyapong. Vehemently. N.Addo was a spendthrift. He was an irresponsible president who did not have Ghana at will and at heart. My brother, my sister, I must applaud vehemently Ablakwa for fighting so hard to stop N.Addo Dankwa Akuffo from wasting our money on frivolous fantastic ventures. My brother, my sister. Now let us go into this issue properly. Akufo-Addo was living his childhood fantasies by flying left, right, and center with no reason. He wanted to have a shower whilst in the air. He wanted to live exorbitantly. He had the chance, my brother, my sister, to do the needful. He wasted millions of American dollars on a useless cathedral project which never even took off. He should be going to jail. And all the people who supported N.Addo Akufo-Addo to start this dirty, frivolous cathedral project must go to jail with him. Nana Akufo-Addo is the worst president this nation has ever had. And to have Agyapong talk about this guy, that he should have been allowed to buy a private jet, I am totally getting disappointed. So, Mr. Agyapong, if you become president, the first thing you'll be doing is to be buying a private jet, right? My brother, my sister, I am so disappointed. This is a huge disappointment to me. We all sat down and watched N.Addo Akufo-Addo flying in and out of this country at will, spending the taxpayers' money on useless travels. Instead of buying a private jet for the use of a private individual, one man, the president, and whoever is in power, why don't we spend that money to bring back the Ghana Airways? Can the president not fly in the Ghana Airways? Can he not use it around? After bringing back Ghana Airways, any other thing can be done, and Ghanaians would applaud that. See how much money was pumped into this cathedral project. Ghanaians opposed it. We all went out there and fought against it. But the arrogant president still went ahead and pushed the agenda, wasted the taxpayers' money on this useless venture. I don't trust this man to think well in the interest of this nation after this dirty project. Again, we all still remember e-levy. When Ghanaians opposed it, they did all they could, including even flying Agyapong all the way from the doctor's table where he was having a surgery. They had to fly him in by force to vote for a certain deadly e-levy. Can I trust this president? Let us not sit back and start to say, oh, the helicopter crash was because we didn't have a private jet. My brother, that was a military aircraft. It was airworthy. That was why they allowed it to fly. They used one of the best pilots to fly it. It didn't have any defect. Unless we are just going to be told, after looking at the black box, that yes, it was defective in one way or the other. If Agyapong comes out to tell me Ablakwa was engaged in a frivolous partisan politics of not allowing the president at the time to buy a private jet, I strongly disagree. What are your priorities? You prioritize a certain cathedral. See how much millions went into that. You prioritize, at the chagrin of Ghanaians, my brother, my sister, a certain animal called e-levy. What has become of those two projects? Nothing sensible came out of them. And today, a presidential aspirant is telling me that Adodankwa should have been allowed to go and get that private jet. What is that? Ablakwa should apologize for what? For stopping the spendthrift of the president from wasting our money? I am disappointed. Now the next thing I want to look at, my brother, my sister, is of equal importance. My brother, my sister, and it's still about the same private jet. This time, he says Akufo-Addo handed over a presidential jet that was airworthy and serviceable. My brother, my sister, and who is speaking? Open your ears and listen with rapt attention. My brother, my sister, this is the former Minister of Defense, Dominic Nitiwul. And I read, former Minister of Defense Dominic Nitiwul has insisted that the erstwhile N.Addo Akufo-Addo government handed over an airworthy presidential jet to the John Dramani Mahama government. Now, speaking in an interview with Joy News on August 19, 2025, the former defense minister indicated that the presidential jet, the Dassault Falcon 900, had a corroded tank, but it was repaired before Nitiwul left office. He said that the then President Akufo-Addo used the jet and handed it over to President Mahama in a very good state. It came back with everything anew. After the manufacturers worked on it, the servicing was done by the manufacturers. They worked on it and said everything was okay. So there was no problem with it. So the former president started using it in April 2024. He used it until the time he handed over. That is why I said that we have given out a jet that is airworthy, serviceable, and can fly. Nitiwul added that the issue of a faulty tank only returned after the jet was left idle for about a year. After using it for one more year, it was found out that the corroded part was still giving the jet problems. So the Air Force recommended to the new government to send it back to France for further servicing. My brother, my sister, I have my doubts about the West. This is a presidential jet. It is meant for the President of the Republic of Ghana, who is trying to put Ghana on a strong footing. My brother, my sister, if he was a puppet of a president like N.Addo Akufo-Addo, no problem for the West. After all, he's just yet another puppet of DS. My brother, my sister, but this president has come into power and he wants to make sure that all the T's are crossed and all the I's dotted. My brother, my sister. So he is a threat already to the West. What is Nitiwul saying? If the jet was that good, why did N.Addo Akufo-Addo want to buy a new one? For what? Shame to every president who wants to have a private jet when the nation doesn't have an airline. It's a shame. Can somebody underline that? Shame on any African president who wants to have a private jet to himself when the nation does not even have a national carrier. Are you not ashamed? You are building a cathedral. That amount could have bought us aeroplanes that could be used for Ghana Airways to return. But no, you decided to use it for a frivolous project. Again, Nitiwul said it was sent all the way to France and was serviced. They brought it back in a very good condition. The president used it in April before he left office. Now, April 2024, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, 8 months. Now we are returning to the aircraft and it's all corroded again. And Nitiwul is telling us because we left it idle for so long. What is so long to Nitiwul? Can somebody explain? What does it mean to say so long to Nitiwul? Is it 1 month? Is it 2 months? Is it 8 months? 10 months? 10 years? It's a shame. How can an aeroplane be sent to France to the manufacturers for repairs? It took time to be repaired. They okayed it and brought it back. Less than 10 months later, the aeroplane is said to be corroded. The same problem that it was sent to France for. Did you do a good job? Or did you connive with the people one more time to rob the nation of its resources? In fact, the manufacturer should be sued. Why do our leaders behave this sheepish? I am so angry, my brother. How can you take a plane out for it to be repaired by no other person but the manufacturer? The plane is repaired, it is okayed, and sent back for use in the country. The sitting president, we are told, allegedly used it in April. So if he used it in April, when was the last time the president used it before he was kicked out of office so shamefully? My brother, my sister, now the new president wants to use it less than a year after it was serviced. What was the warranty like? The servicing, did it give us any warranty? Or we do not have warranty for servicing? Oh, what a shame. Oh, what a shame. Today, Nitiwul has come to tell us a beautiful story. A story that can never add up. Minister of Defense in the N.Addo Dankwa regime. Listen to what he's saying. Oh, we serviced it. The manufacturer said it was okay. And then we started to fly it in April. And then the new president came in after a few months. And because we left the plane idle for so long, it corroded again. Remember that just a few days ago, a communicator from the presidency told us that they intentionally poured some acid into the tanks, and therefore the plane is grounded. Do you remember that? Many of us took that to be some political propaganda, a reason the president cannot fly that jet. My brother, my sister, so it is true that the tank is corroded again. What kind of tank is this? Why didn't they replace the whole tank? Or is it irreplaceable? What did they do in terms of repairs that in less than 1 year the same problem returns? And the reason is that the manufacturer did a good job. The problem is that we just left it idle for so long. What a shame. I leave it here. Now the next thing I want to look at is equally interesting. And I need us all to open our ears and listen with rapt attention. Oh my God. There are things happening in our nation. Oh Lord. I just need you to open your ears and listen with rapt attention. To the umpteenth time. Now this thing that I'm looking at right now is serious. And it says, your bias against President Mahama is clear. Your bias against President Mahama is clear. Who is speaking?
Yo, Jumadio no fa miuna yada brown. Must subscribe like Jumadio and send them out for friends and can kindly click on the notification bell so send be out. Yada news we have a platform so I also with the echo and the air but Jumadio no do now Black Rasta to us and then some do na there at Tuja or that's agent Akuffo do any MPP so yanko near Konkote and some or the Tuja.
And what does this person mean? My brother, this is Dafia Mekpo slamming GBA speaker line up. And I read, legal practitioner and member of parliament for South Dai, Roxanne Nelson Dafia Mekpo, has called out the leadership of the Ghana Bar Association, GBA, over what he describes as their apparent aversion to President John Dramani Mahama. Now, in a post on his X page on Wednesday, that's yesterday, August 20, 2025, the majority chief whip shared a list of speakers scheduled for GBA's 2025 annual conference and noted that while the association almost always platformed former President N.Addo Akuffo during his tenure, the current president of the country did not make the list for this year's edition. He accused the association of being biased towards President John Dramani Mahama whilst challenging the GBA to continue performing the bidding of the opposition New Patriotic Party. Your unalloyed bias against JDM and the NDC government is too glaring to be ignored now. You can continue to act as a wing of the main opposition party to do its bidding. We are ready for you. The MP drew a contrast between speakers for GBA conferences over the past 8 years and the upcoming edition to support his case. Now, reacting further to the individuals listed for the 2025 edition, which includes the Chief Justice, the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, the National President of the GBA, the President of the Bar Council for England and Wales, as the guest speaker, the majority chief whip described the list as curious. My brother, my sister, I think I'm very interested in this. As for the bias, we will continue to have that. Now we have Madam Tokono kicked out. There are some people in the GBA who would sympathize, if that is a strong word, they would empathize with this woman. Could that be a reason? Or could that be one of the reasons they are trying to change the course of history for the worse? Wherever it is, the legacy of President John Dramani Mahama will speak for itself. My brother, my sister, what haven't they done to this man? But he is where he is because of his dint of hard work and passion to see this nation grow. They called him all sorts of names, from womanizer, papano, all the way through to the incompetent Mahama. In fact, they garnished it with the drunkard garnishing on the cake that was the icing. They said all kinds of things to the point that they went out to tell Muslims that, oh, he bears a Muslim name only. He's actually not Muslim. He's Christian. Don't they know? At least there's a John in his name. There is a John in his name, so they know. But they had a defeatist attitude. They knew they had a flag bearer who was lukewarm, in fact cold, like an impotent man. at dawn. He couldn't bite. They knew he was going to lose. So that defeatist attitude made them throw all caution to the wind. Mahama still went ahead to win after campaigning with his blood. Today he's in there. Give him some respect. Put some respect on his name. You said he became president because of Atamils. He gave credit to Atamils, no problem. He came back again. And you guys said, oh, it was because party bigwigs endorsed him and pushed him on. His second coming as president, he decided to walk like the solo animal, carrying all his destiny on his own head. He made it, my brother, my sister, with a few of his loyalists. They are presidents now. Give them some respect. The city is dancing beautifully in front of the dollar. The dollar wants to join in the dance, but no, it is reserved for energy. The dollar must stay behind. The euro must stay behind. The whole world wants to come to Ghana because of what is happening right now. Law is beginning to work. Order is beginning to work. Now the icing on the cake would be the seal on Galamsey. When the president is able to do that, then he would have an auto flight. You know what it means to say auto flight? When the pilot is struggling to fly the plane against the storm and, of course, against the turbulences. When he finally overcomes that, he can go to sleep and drink his tea after putting the plane on autopilot. Hallelujah. To President John Dramani Mahama, is this what we have never seen? You were vilified beyond vilification. You were disrespected in all aspects. When N.Addo called you kwasia, excuse my language, he called you a thief, kromfosa. I don't want to play back that tape. But if you push me, I'll play it. My brother, my sister, you never responded. What did N.Addo say later? The hero that he is, he met N.Addo, and Kennedy told him, you know what? All those utterances are made against you. I am sorry. You are a gentleman. You are a true... For Kennedy to come back and say things like this, Kennedy is not a man you can push around. But he looked at the gentility and ability of the former president at the time, and he apologized. In the run-up to the elections, he gave him a solid impetus to rise to the presidency again. This, his party didn't like. The NPP came against N.Addo, saying that he had endorsed Mahama in one way or the other. But he was only clearing his conscience for a bigger battle later. Kudos to N.Addo. At this point, my brother, I'm glad you said you are ready for this. Because it's going to continue.
You are hot and adding some ABC at the moment. So subscribe, like it, when share them Afro-Friends and can be open open just about your politics, your democracy, and your manusana and Kwana POG Media. We always give you a credible news and a credible information pertaining your politics and your democracy. POG Media anymore. Subscribe, like it, share them Afro-Friends and can be macram.